Namaste to the Divine Souls. The topic today that we are going to talk on is the topic of role of forgiveness in achieving personal peace and global peace. Now, when you look at a human being's life or his lifetime or her lifetime, we see that a human keeps on spinning or creating a web. Web of what? Web of negative emotions like anger, hatred, jealousy, having grudges, having complaints. All that is because of his involuntary predisposed nature that he has come with. Now, the problem is because of this nature of his, of ignorance, he gets trapped in this web that he or her himself has created and spun. Now, the unfortunate part is that, like a spider who knows how to tread well in his web and he does not get entrapped, the human being has unfortunately not developed a skill to not get entrapped and has not developed the skill to tread well on this web that is created for himself and herself. So the question arises, is it possible? Is there something that a human being can develop? Is it an act? Is it an attitude? Is it an emotion? And so on and so forth. Is it a skill? So yes, when we talk about this act or skill, I'm sure you would have guessed it could be, and it is definitely the act of forgiveness. So many of you today, you might be nodding your head when I'm saying this word, the act of forgiveness. You all must have seen this happening in your life, that when you forgive, what happens? Now, the most unfortunate part is that this human being remains trapped in his web of negative emotions, which is involuntary. And he does not have any skill, or he has not developed any skill to come out of this trap that he has created of his own. So, is there something that a human being can do voluntarily or put conscious efforts to come out of this trap that he or she has created for himself? This trap of negative emotions that are all the time remaining, bruises which are fresh all the time. They never get healed. The wounds never get healed. So is there any such thing? Is there any act? Is there any emotion? Is there any feeling? Is there any attitude? Is there any skill that can help a human being to heal the bruises of negative emotions, because of which he remains miserable and he's all the time going here and there to find out solutions? Yes, there is an act, and that act is an act of forgiveness. It's a voluntary act and you have to put conscious efforts towards that. So this forgiveness is to let go, to release oneself actually, not only others, but release oneself. So it is the act of releasing or letting go. So what does forgiveness do? How does it help us? Help every human being. Forgiveness helps us to be brave. Forgiveness helps us to have courage. Forgiveness helps us to have strength. Forgiveness helps us to heal. Forgiveness helps us to empower oneself. Forgiveness helps us to accept what? That no one and nothing is perfect. Forgiveness helps us in our self-growth. Forgiveness helps us in having mental and physical well-being. Forgiveness helps us release stress and tension. Forgiveness helps us to reconcile both ways. If it works out, fine. If it doesn't work out, also fine. And when you have all of the above points, when you're able to strive for that through the act of forgiveness, then you have personal peace. And if every human being strives for this act of forgiveness as much as one can, then don't you think we can have a global peace? And remember one thing, forgiveness is not an act of weakness. Forgiveness is an act of self-victory. Thank you and namaste.